That's
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special edition of Finance Junkies. We've got a special guest coming on today. Her name is Kathy Wood. She just bought 4 million shares of Palantir, and we've got her live on the show today. We're going to ask her, Chris, what's going on? Your girl's back in? Yo, there are 258 people here in 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's already 50 likes. Like,
yo, didn't we say Kathy would be buying? Didn't we say that?
You did say it. We talked about this yesterday. Holy guacamole. I did not see 258 people. Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. And
I guess whatever guest we have backstage knows how to bring a big audience. Let's just say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, we're gonna get right into it. So everybody who's here, thank you all for being here. If this is your first time on the Finance Junkies, thank you all for being here. We have a very special guest today. It is not Kathy Wood, but definitely we will be talking about her tonight. The guest that we have, just to give him a little bit of an introduction, I think we would call, and Carlos, I've seen you call him a YouTube finance legend.
Yeah, the OG.
He's an OG. He's a pioneer of the space. I mean, back in 2016, when, for a community to exist, for a platform to have any relevance over types of content, there have to be pioneers of that content on the platform. So like TikTok does not become the dancing app that it is if Charlie and Addison Rae are not dancing. And YouTube does not become a finance behemoth in the media space if you don't have Meet Kevin, if you don't have Jeremy, and really those two, because Graham and Andre are great, but Meet Kevin and Jeremy like actually talk about individual stocks, right? So they really build an audience around those companies that they analyze. So Jeremy's been doing this since I think 2015, 2016, thousands and thousands of video posted, has proliferated the platform and has really built a really strong audience. And he's still relevant today after 7-8 years of doing this, which is really hard to do as a YouTuber.
And also enabled clowns like us to have a channel.
And he's enabled clowns like us to have a channel. And last thing I'll say on this, I had a call with Dave Lee once, and Dave Lee was telling me how the YouTube algorithm works. And he says, look, Amit, to be honest, the only reason you're getting any clicks is because I'm on YouTube. And he wasn't saying it in a negative way. He was saying, where do you think your content's getting recommended against? It's getting recommended against my Tesla videos. People care about me, so they might care about you, right? And people care about Dave Lee because they might care about Elon. So his video, right? So it's a cycle of how videos get recommended against each other. So I think it's safe to say we would not be here today. I would not be here today unless Jeremy pioneered the space. He was also nice enough to let me into his house when I went to Las Vegas back in September. So really, really awesome person, cool guy. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 383 people. The reason you are here, we got to do the bell for 300.
Right when he walks in.
Got 300 in a row. When we get to 400, we'll do the 400 bell.
Chris's face was priceless.
Jeremy, thank you for being here.
Hey, Jeremy, maybe you can convince this idiot to give up that stupid cowbell, man.
And you gotta switch Chris and Jeremy too.
Oh, I gotta switch Chris and Jeremy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Whatever keeps folks entertained, as we say. So hey, if it's the cowbell, it's the cowbell.
What's up, Jeremy? It's nice to meet you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to this. My gosh, I feel like it's such a busy time. There's so much going on, and specifically, obviously, with you guys and with Palantir. I mean, what a time to come on the program for a time period like this. I mean, you have breaking news. You obviously got the earnings. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. So I'm looking forward to getting into a whole bunch of stuff. I appreciate you guys having me tonight. So.
Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here. So I want to start off with this before we get into individual stocks and stuff. We'll talk about Tesla and Palantir, obviously the main discussion. Real quick, legend on YouTube finance. Why are you still doing YouTube? Why do you enjoy YouTube? And any advice for people trying to build a YouTube channel in the stock space? If we get to a bull market, there's going to be a lot of people trying to do this. So why are you still doing YouTube, and why do you enjoy talking about stocks?
Yeah, it's always fun. That's the main thing. I think I'm still having fun with it. All these years later, it's still a really enjoyable process for me, And I certainly last year I felt really needed out there, specifically with obviously the bear market we experienced. A lot of investors obviously got absolutely tore up last year, and so that made me feel more needed, I guess you could say, in that sort of market. And I've really been I've probably been the most motivated I've been on YouTube for really like this past year. And I don't know how long that's going to last for. Eventually it'll fade out. But for the last year, I've been super motivated. It's been an exciting time to really be on the platform and whatnot. And when you build a pretty good sized audience, also you feel like there's a lot of people that want to know your perspectives, opinions, what you're up to in the market. And by not doing that, you kind of feel like you're letting folks down. Obviously, it's like there's a certain amount of people that want to hear my opinions on whatever happened and those sorts of things. And to say I'm not going to do that anymore is definitely a tough thing. So I'm still having fun with it. And as long as I'm still having a good time, I expect to be on this platform. And if it's ever a chore and I'm like, oh gosh, I got to record a YouTube video, if it's ever like that, then I'll probably leave. And it got close to that point at the beginning of 2021. I definitely felt like that. We were in that ultra bullish market and just like, it was just so hypey. And I started to feel like kind of like down about the YouTube space and whatnot. And actually, I think last year was the best thing that could ever happen. So we had a purge, and I think that purge was healthy. And now we're here, and we're getting more into normalized time periods where you have certain stocks that are going up a lot, certain stocks that are going down a lot. And we're getting into a more of a normalish market, which is nice because we had anything but a normal market there for quite some time. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. Kris, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think there's so many opportunities that are presenting themselves like now. There's so much fear and pessimism out in the market, and things that literally 6 months ago or a year ago people were willing to overpay for, no one is willing to touch right now. And I think this is the time where if you are very selective about what you're picking, you do the finance, you do the research, you understand some core concepts on investing, you could really clean up house and then set yourself up for 10 years worth of not just chilling, because I think a lot of people think investing is you have to constantly move in of the market, out of it, in and out. And it's not like that. It's just finding the right thing at the right time, buying it and just holding it and just chilling for the next 10 years and just watching the money just kind of compound itself. And so I've been one of your bigger followers. Like, I think I might have been like maybe when you were 20 or 30,000 in the sub count. So I've been following you since those days. I was like, oh, you know what? And I'll be honest, at first I was just like, this guy is kind of an idiot. Like, I used to think that, but I understood the shtick behind it, where it was like you were trying to make this a fun thing, where I think if you just came off as a serious person, like, I think Apple is a good company to invest in, it would have been just so fucking retarded and people would not have even tried to invest. So I think that's
we need the holy smokers. We need the excitement.
Yeah, it has to be funny. At the end of the day, we're entertainers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a key difference between us and CNBC, right? Where we try to break it down in more
there's other
simplistic
differences
ways.
between
We have better track record than Kramer.
Oh, God.
but
Okay, so Jeremy, so Kris has been a fan of you for a while. He's talking about, buy companies right now, hold them for years, especially when there's a purge going on. I want to get into one of the biggest companies in the world, one of the most exciting companies in the world, Tesla. What are your current high-level thoughts on the state of this company right now? Obviously, you've been in it since about 2018. Our fellow co-hosts, VITALY and Carlos, have constantly reminded us that they have 20x their money on Tesla, just like you.
But before he answers that,
Depends on
because
the
I had a question for him. I actually followed you on your channel, and when you sold out of Tesla, I'm like, this mofo selling out of Tesla? What's he, crazy?
You're
And I'm
leaving
like,
us.
God damn it! Why didn't I follow this mofo into selling out of Tesla? Because that's
It
actually
was
a
my
problem.
Tesla too.
Maybe you can help us with this, because like at some point we all have to sell. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
How did you know it was the time to sell, and how do you know it's the time to buy? Like, that's an important question, I think.
Oh gosh,
Everyone
yeah,
has.
that's a phenomenal question. So in regards to Tesla, I definitely cashed out much of my shares. That was kind of like, oh gosh, I'm thinking like late 2020, early 2021.
So that was
just
a $1 billion market cap?
Yeah, it was just a valuation
T?
play at that time.
Hmm.
And it seemed like, Tesla's valuation just got pushed too far. And it was kind of like, Tesla's going to have to make up for this for years. It's no different than, if Palantir was trading at $40 today, I might have a very different opinion than if Palantir is trading at $9 or $10, right? And so it's like, what are you willing to pay for something? And, the more you understand about Elon Musk's grand vision and kind of everything he's been trying to do, like at some point in time, you knew, or at least I suspected, that margins were going to have to be compressed, because if rates are going to go up, it's going to get to be a much tougher environment for home sales, car sales, furniture sales, anything that people buy on debt, right? And you take out a loan, and that would fit Tesla. And so, Elon's just one of those guys that he has that almost like a Jeff Bezos approach in a certain way of like, if I got to squeeze my competitors and sacrifice margin, I'm going to do that. And obviously that's a decision he's made. And ultimately it's hurting Tesla's margins and profitability in the short term. It should be for long-term gain, and we can get into all that. But that was kind of my thought process around that. And so I'm in a very different place now, because now I actually believe Tesla's a great opportunity in the market. So what a shift in a matter of 2 years. And that's the beauty with the stock market. It's like, a year or two can go by. You can go from this stock's crap, this is overvalued. I remember, to give you, I don't want to get too far off subject, but I did a video in the summer of 2018 talking about why Netflix and Amazon were massively overvalued. And like, I thought those stocks were going to do bad. Okay. And today, Amazon and Netflix are around the same price as when I did that video in the summer of 2018 now at this point in time. And the companies have done great. I mean, you look at their revenues over time and things like that. It's just the valuations got pushed too much. Now, Amazon's the #1 mega cap stock I'm buying right now. And so that's the beauty with the market. It's like one time, things are overvalued, and another time you're not. And sometimes you're going to get it wrong. And I certainly got it wrong in the past on paying too much for stocks. You're not always going to be perfect in this game. You got to be willing to accept sometimes you're going to overpay, or you're not going to cash when maybe you had an opportunity to. So, it is what
you
it
had
is.
a lot of hate actually for your Tesla call, by the way. I remember seeing all these the hateful comments. I'm getting some of them now, so I understand you a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
what hate are you getting? Hate for what?
just hateful comments, man.
Hateful comments. I was like, you didn't sell out or anything. Okay, go ahead.
No, not selling out. But when he sold Tesla, there's a lot of Tesla bulls that come out immediately and start. So the question to you though is, when you sold, you obviously sold for a reason, but is it the best thing to do for most people? Because I don't know, are you actually up or down in that position? Because now you're coming back into Tesla. Overall, has the trade been beneficial, or is it better just to honestly just stick around and just dollar cost average because if you think it's going up higher?
So that's where things get complicated, because a lot of that money I put into small cap stocks, which also went down a ton. Yeah. So I should have just probably put it into cash at that particular time. So, and some of those small caps have started to come back recently, but a lot of them are still down significantly. So I can't say like, oh, I made out great on that. That was such a smart move, because at the end of the day, like I went down on a lot of other stocks as well, right? And so, I mean, for the most part, it makes sense to just hold through. Okay. And if you really are a believer in the company for the long term, it makes sense to just hold through. That end of 2020 into beginning of 2021 market was a different sort of beast. That was the closest thing we've had to our day of a tech bubble, I guess you can say. This was this generation's tech bubble we went through, in my opinion, right? And so everybody that didn't go through the first one, like we went through this one. And I mean, there was a moment it was kind of toward the end of 2020. I was actually considering selling my whole portfolio, which that would have been a pretty dramatic thing, but I considered it. I didn't do it. I probably should have done it, to be quite frank, but actually considered it. So that was a different market. And I don't think we should always think about the market in regards to these kind of freakish once every 20 year. We're going to have another crazy bubble market someday where everything's going to the moon. It's probably going to be a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades from now, but it will happen again. So most times, hold through. You love a company for the long term, hold it. It's going to fluctuate. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. If it dips big, buy some more shares and throw it in the filing cabinet.